No, listen to me. Get back! It's not safe.
Royal guards quietly locked down Windsor Hall after Princess Charlotte received a midnight phone call from someone officially declared dead. Nearly 20 years ago, Princess Charlotte received the first phone call just after midnight. At first, nobody inside Windsor Hall knew it had happened. Not Prince William, not Catherine, not even the royal security team assigned outside her floor. According to palace staff, the evening had been completely normal. A formal dinner, several private meetings, and a quiet charity planning session Charlotte attended earlier that afternoon. Nothing unusual, until her private phone rang from an unknown number. Charlotte reportedly answered after the second ring, but nobody spoke. There was only breathing. Slow. Calm, close enough to sound like someone standing directly beside her. At first, she assumed it was a prank. Then the breathing stopped, and a voice quietly whispered, "Do you remember the lake?" The line disconnected immediately afterward. According to one palace maid, Charlotte looked visibly shaken for the rest of the night, but she told nobody. Not until the calls started happening again. Different numbers. Different phones. Always after midnight. Always ending the same way. Breathing. Then silence. Until the fourth night. Because this time, the caller used Charlotte's childhood nickname. A nickname almost nobody outside the royal family still knew. That was the moment Charlotte finally told William. And according to palace insiders, the future king went completely silent after listening to the recording, especially after hearing the nickname. Within hours, William quietly ordered all personal phones inside Windsor Hall temporarily confiscated. Staff phones. Guest devices, even several royal communication lines. Officially, the palace blamed a security breach. Unofficially, panic spread through Windsor Hall. Especially after another phone suddenly rang nights later. Not Charlotte's, a palace maid's. According to internal reports, the maid answered expecting family. Instead, the voice calmly said, "Put Charlotte on the phone." The maid immediately dropped the device, and when security checked the phone moments later, there was no call history. No number, nothing. That was when Oliver Grant personally began guarding Charlotte's floor every night, and honestly, even he looked unsettled afterward, especially after Charlotte finally admitted something disturbing. Because according to her, the caller never sounded threatening. He sounded familiar. One evening, Grant quietly asked her, "Do you think you know who it is?" Charlotte stayed silent for several seconds, then whispered, "No, but I think he knows me." That sentence changed William completely. Security doubled overnight. Schedules changed daily. And according to palace staff, William secretly began reviewing old royal archives late into the night. Then came the final call. The emergency landline inside Charlotte's room rang shortly after 2 a.m. Grant answered before she could. At first there was only static. Then breathing. Then, finally, the voice quietly said, "You should ask William what happened at the lake." The line disconnected immediately. According to one servant standing outside William's office later that night, the future king reportedly whispered something nobody expected to hear. He's supposed to be dead. 2 nights later, Charlotte disappeared. Not for hours, only 19 minutes. But according to palace security, those 19 minutes terrified. Windsor Hall. Her bed was empty. Her phone left on the floor, and the window slightly open. Within seconds, the West Wing entered lockdown. Guards flooded the palace corridors while William reportedly gave one order above all others: check the lake. That single sentence stunned Oliver Grant instantly, because until that moment, nobody except the caller had mentioned the lake again. Grant personally led the search team through the freezing rain toward the abandoned estate gardens behind Windsor Hall. The same area officially closed nearly 20 years earlier after a child connected to the royal household supposedly drowned there. And near the water, they found Charlotte's shoes, placed carefully beside the shore, as if someone had calmly removed them. Before entering the lake. William arrived moments later, and according to one guard, he looked close to breaking apart. Then Grant heard movement inside the abandoned boathouse nearby. Guards rushed forward immediately, weapons drawn. But when they forced the door open, Charlotte was standing inside alone, soaked from the rain. Holding an old cassette recorder tightly against her chest, William immediately stepped toward her. Charlotte. But she didn't move, didn't cry. She only looked at him and quietly said, "He wanted me to hear the truth myself." Nobody spoke. Then she handed William the cassette recorder. According to Oliver Grant, William hesitated before pressing play, almost like he already knew what was on it. But eventually, he listened. And the moment the tape started, the room fell silent, because the voice belonged to a former palace doctor long believed dead, a terrified man describing an incident hidden by Windsor Hall for nearly 20 years, according to the recording. The drowning had never been accidental. The child survived, and several people inside the palace covered it up to avoid scandal. But the sentence that destroyed the room came at the very end. If Charlotte ever remembers the lake, tell her she was the one who pulled him out. Grant later admitted he genuinely stopped breathing after hearing that, because suddenly everything made sense. The calls, the nightmares, the erased records. Charlotte had been there the night it happened. As a child, and someone inside Windsor Hall had spent years making sure she forgot. William reportedly sat frozen after the tape ended, then quietly whispered, "I thought hiding it would protect her." But Charlotte looked directly at him and calmly replied, "No doubt you were protecting yourself." And according to palace staff, that was the exact moment Windsor Hall stopped feeling like a palace and started feeling like a crime scene. If you enjoyed this emotional royal mystery story, leave your theories in the comments below. Do you think William was trying to protect Charlotte or protect the royal family? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more hidden palace secrets and emotional royal dramas.